How does anxious attachment style affect your ability to love your partner? This is an important question because most of the people watching this channel either have attachment issues or they know somebody who does. So if you're struggling with attachment and if you have been difficult in your own relationships, difficult for yourself, difficult opening up to other people, if it has been a challenge to bond with other people and you feel lonely and you feel like the other person doesn't understand you, we need to talk about how to fix that. How does anxious attachment style affect your ability to love your partner? This is something that we don't cover much on this channel. Usually we cover how does it make you feel? How does your attachment affect you? How does your attachment affect the relationship as a whole? But how does the attachment affect your ability to give love? Because I've talked to you before about what attachment is. It's the ability to give and receive love from other people. Most people miss that part and they struggle to realize that giving love is just as important and just as affected. Today, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about how anxious attachment style actually limits your ability to give love to other people more than you think it does. Because anxious attachment style people are usually some of the most loving people on earth on the surface. We'll talk about that here in a minute. If you want to hear more, boy, have I got an earful for you today. You're going to eat this up. It's going to be some hard truths. These are going to be some hard truths that are going to hit pretty hard. And I'm going to warn you, you may not like me very much by the end of this video, but you're going to hear what you need to hear. And speaking of hearing the things that you need, during this video, I may be sharing information about resources that I have available. For example, my free attachment styles guide for the 4 different attachment styles. If you don't know how to find your attachment style guide, your attachment, check out on my website on adamlanesmith.com. I've got the 4 attachments listed on there for a guide that you can check out. You put in your email, it sends you the PDF, you get that copy. I've also got my video camp course, the Attachment Boot Camp, on there. I've got my book, Slaying Your Fear. I have links to all of my coaching and consultations. If you need help fixing your anxious attachment by the end of this video, you just might. Set me up, let me know, send me an email, support@adamlanesmith. All these links are down below in the description, and everything is available on my website, adamlanesmith.com. You do not have to live with whatever pain you are going through. We can find you a way through it and build you a plan to make it better. So for now, let's talk about anxious attachment style and what it actually means for you. Because most of the time, people hear about avoidant attachment style causing problems and limiting people's ability to love. What's the dark side of anxious attachment style? Well, keep in mind, anxious attachment style tells us that we have something wrong with us on the inside that makes us unlovable. There's something wrong with us that if we open up, everybody else is going to see it. I know, because I used to have anxious attachment style before I fixed it. And that set me on this path for 15 years now of becoming an attachment specialist and helping people fix this. But I remember that feeling that there's just something in there that no, everybody else can see, but you can't, and you are unlovable because of it. I remember that feeling. It's a horrible feeling because what it does is it leads you to say, I got to lock down. I have to put up a guard in front of me and be safe at all times and put a cardboard cutout in front that is perfect, that everyone else will like, everyone else will approve of. I have to earn endless approval from other people. I have to prevent being found out as a fraud and prevent abandonment at all costs. And it makes you hate yourself because you violate your boundaries and your own goals and beliefs for other people for their approval, but it also makes you a perpetual liar. I told you weren't going to like me very much by the end of this video. It makes you a perpetual liar, not because you are an evil person on the inside, but because you will do things and say that they're fine. You will tolerate things and say that they are fine. You will lie through omission by just not sharing information. You will not help other people understand what they're doing wrong. You're going to tell people you will never, ever leave them. And then after they've hurt you multiple times and you haven't said anything, you're going to just start backing away from them and not say anything about it. And they had no idea. You will do one of the things you hate most on this earth, which is ghosting. You will ghost other people without any explanation at all. Very likely for that to happen with someone who has anxious attachment style, but that's down the road. An avoidant person will do a lot of rotten things about 6 to 12 months into the relationship, most likely. An anxious person is a slower burn and then deeper betrayals down the line. And then they will blame themselves and hate themselves, but then they will do other things that make the other person feel hated and resented just as much. Keep in mind that an anxious attachment style person believes they don't deserve to get their needs met. And then if they are honest about what they need or want, other people will say, you don't deserve that. You're a burden. Why would I do that for you? And back away from them, leave them, abandon them, reject them. At the very best, will meet their needs, but begrudgingly so, in a way that poisons the relationship. So what an anxious attachment style person will do is do 10 nice things for every one thing that they hope to get from the other person, without ever mentioning what the other person is supposed to know or asking for it. They'll even pretend they don't want it, so the other person won't do it begrudgingly. They'll expect spontaneity. They'll value spontaneity. Well, if it's not spontaneous, then they didn't mean it. They just did it because I made them do it, and that's awful, because then they're going to hate me. Anxious people put a tremendous amount of pressure on the other person to figure it out, to guess it. This holds back your ability to love other people too. And you can't just be honest and share what you need in the relationship. Think about this. If someone tells you clearly what they're looking for, what they hope for, what they want, and then helps you achieve it if you don't feel like you can even meet those needs, they help you. And there's love and compassion and care on both sides, and they let you know when you do great, and they let you know when there's something to fix, and they work with you to fix it. Don't you feel good? Well, that's honesty. And that's the one thing that anxious attachment people do not give in relationships. Which is funny because anxious attachment style people value honesty more than just about anything else. They value it, they don't give it. That's why they hate themselves. That's why self-hatred is so common with anxious attachment style people, to legitimately despise themselves because they violate the one thing that they want most from others, and they hold back so much love. And they try to compensate. They really do, because they want to give everything to other people because they know what it's like not to feel loved. So they try so hard to love other people, but instead they end up enabling other people. Instead of giving them tough love, they usually enable bad behaviors. They allow the bad things to go on. Even if the other person's not a malicious actor, they're just confused or ignorant. They don't fix them. They don't fix that. They don't set them straight. They enable, and then the other person gets dropped into the dirt eventually and says, why did you never tell me? Well, I couldn't. That was scary. You made it too scary. I talk a lot about the downside of avoidant attachment style and how it leads to so much hurt and so much heartache and disappointment. This is a talk today, a real talk about how anxious attachment style leads to so many problems in relationships for you and for others. And I am not here to headbutt you or gut you or kick you while you're down, but this is a major reason why anxious attachment style does not work in relationships. People always say, man, I'd rather date an anxious attachment person than an avoidant attachment person. Well, maybe right up front, but over time, anxious attachment style poisons the relationship just as thoroughly, if not worse, to be honest with you. So now we've talked about why anxious attachment style is so dangerous in a relationship long term. The good news is you can fix this. I want to teach you how. And today I'm going to teach you the steps of exactly how to fix this, because it is my profession to fix this, but I'm also going to show you what anxious people should be doing instead. And once you fix it, how are you a little bit better off than the average person in giving love? Because anxious people do have so much love to give, especially after they've healed the part that keeps them from being totally honest with other people. Well, number one, to fixing your anxious attachment style, you know this from previous videos, I hope. And if you don't, I've got my attachment bootcamp video course to show you this, but you must open up to other people about the reality of your insecurity. Remember that part on the inside that you think makes you an evil, unlovable piece of garbage? You open up to somebody you trust and say, look, I got to tell you, I got to level with you. You may not know this about me, but I am an anxious person. I really feel deep down like there's something wrong with me that no one's ever going to accept me for. And it makes me do and say things to earn approval. And I hate it. It makes me feel dishonest. And I don't want to do that anymore. So can you please accept me where I am right now? Can we be friends, and can we build a good, honest relationship going forward where we are always honest with each other? Can we do that? The purpose here is to be corny, to be on the table, and to be completely upfront, to receive real acceptance clearly. Even if you think, well, they pretty much accept me, make it obvious. Experience it. You must experience real acceptance rather than just intellectually believing they probably will accept you. You must experience that real acceptance from the other person, and you must open up and risk who you are on the inside to show that, and then be proven that there's nothing on the inside that's bad. You need to prove that. You need the experience of seeing, okay, someone accepted me even though they saw fully into my deepest parts and learned about my insecurity. And I've now exposed myself to this so they can actually see when I'm insecure. They'll tell me and they'll call me out on it. You've given yourself nowhere to hide. This is the ultimate honesty. It's terror and facing it head on and being anxious anyway. It's outing yourself to the other person so they have the full context and can make the decision themselves. And it is hedging your bets for the future so that your relationship can stay strong. Even if you maybe try to sabotage it, they know what's going on. You can both work together to build a better relationship. Maybe they'll even catch you and help you and turn you around, give you the tough love that you've been afraid to give other people. This is a big, gigantic part of fixing that anxious attachment style. And for more information on that, check out my attachment bootcamp course. Hire a session, schedule a session with me. Let's work together. I've got tons of resources to help you through this process. Don't do it alone. There's tons of people in my attachment circle community right now fixing this, and it's so helpful to have somebody at your back who understands this. You've got to have that. But you can fix that. You can fix this. Now, here's why fixing it is so important. Because now you can be honest. You can say, hey, you know what? I really need this from you. Could you do that for me? Yeah, sure. No problem. You can give and receive love. You can give love by really giving tough love when it's necessary. You can give love by being honest about things you do and don't like. You can give people feedback that actually helps them. You can stop playing games and secret codes trying to get your needs met and just be honest so they can relax. You're giving them love. You're also giving them calm and security and stability and the ability to relax without thinking they're going to do something wrong that's going to set you off. Because anxious attachment style people do have bad days where they do blow up and all that resentment comes pouring out. You shut that down when you are open and honest and you solve those problems in advance. Then there's no explosions of resentment every 6 months when you have a bad day. You give love in a much better way and you stop enabling. You stop enabling completely because when there's a problem, you open up and talk about it and you help the other person fix it. Isn't that great? Isn't that what we just talked about? That you love it when people do that with you? Here's how you can give that love to other people. And here's a deeper reality is people who fix their anxious attachment style now understand the depths of misery someone goes through when they feel insecure or scared or unstable. And the anxious attachment people I know who fix their attachment become some of the most deeply compassionate people on earth and can back it up instead of with enabling. They back it up with real love that helps other people. I am an attachment specialist. I specialized into this because I understood how it felt. I've been doing all this training and experience and helping people for 15 years now. This is my life's passion because of my own anxious attachment behaviors that I had at one time. That's what drove me into this pathway. That's what drives other people to help people as well. When you've overcome a challenge and a pain, you want to help other people overcome the same. An anxious attachment is the belief that you do not deserve to be loved. So you can go out into the world and find the people who don't believe they deserve to be loved or ever will be loved. And you can give them that love because you appreciate it even more than the average person will. You know what it means to get it. This matters most because this is going to allow you to start connecting with securely attached people instead of connecting to insecurely attached people. Anxious people tend to fall into relationships with avoidant people because avoidant people saturate them with love bombing and compliments and flattery and attention and care and good feelings all at once at the beginning. And that's the only thing that anxious people interpret as interest and care and affection. When you fix these problems, you can give love to other people and you can also receive love in a better way. And you can differentiate when it's not real love, when it's flattery, when it's overwhelming oxytocin bonding, when it's love bombing and breadcrumbing and all the avoidant pieces. You can sort that out and give better love even to those people and say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to go for this. This is not what I want. And you can give better love to your secure partner if you find one, and friends and family, and meet them on their wavelength and say, hey, you want that? Okay, let's talk openly. Let's have these better discussions. Let's give each other that stability. Let's be honest with each other. You can give real honesty and connect better to people who have secure attachment. Now you're not going to be out in the cold anymore as someone who's unstable or someone who can't hold a real conversation or someone who can't go deep or someone who can't be honest. You're on the inside with the people who are always honest and always compassionate, and you have the edge in compassion because you understand what it's like. How does that sound? How would it sound to go from a dishonest person who hates themselves and can't be trusted to an honest person who gives better love than anyone else does? That's the power of fixing your anxious attachment. It's not just to say, oh, I got good attachment. It is to build amazing relationships that allow you to give and receive love in the best way for the rest of your life so that other people benefit from having you around and you can immerse yourself in great relationships that feel wonderful. If that's what you want, please fix your anxious attachment style. There's a number of ways to do this, a number of methods that I can show you. Like I said, check out my website, adamlanesmith.com, for a comprehensive list of all kinds of resources on there. Or just email me, support@adamlanesmith.com, and say, Adam, what am I supposed to do? Guide me through this process. Where am I supposed to start? A book, a video, a course, like what? What do we do? Here's my budget. Tell me. Let's work on it. We will figure it out together. In the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please especially drop me a comment down below. I really want to hear where you are at right now in your anxious attachment style process. Are you just beginning? Have you been trying to fix it and you're stuck? Have you fixed it? And is everything I have said here today true? Back that up for people with attachment styles that are going to be looking in the comments and saying, can this really be fixed? Yes, it can. Drop me a comment below and let's talk.